Hi, everybody. All right, I already see some jazz questions coming through. That's cool. I'm playing some jazz right now on the old keyboard. All right, yeah, make sure we mute that volume there. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the live stream. I see some great questions coming through. Hi, everybody. Can anyone name this song that I'm playing, by the way? I got my keyboard here, and I'm actually, let me turn this down a little bit. Yeah. I'm actually playing along with GarageBand. You guys ever use GarageBand? So I use GarageBand to create a lot of my accompaniments and record a lot of my stuff. And right now I'm just using it to kind of do a little jazz background track. The song I'm playing is called Watermelon Man, which a lot of people learn in their, jazz classes. It's a great song for practicing jazz. So, welcome everybody. Let me put this down here. So, thanks. I have some people checking in here, some new people. Mariana is checking in. Hi, Mariana. Juan Hernandez is here. He's got some questions. Let's see, who else can I give a shout out to? Anonymous Shadow, I saw you here checking in early. A lot of familiar faces, names. So Mike is here. Hi, Mike. Why don't we go ahead and jump into some questions, okay? So, well, let's first welcome Dennis is back with us. Hi, Dennis.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
Great. I know someone was checking in early asking for a specific question. Was there one that came through that I should start with?
Well, it was the gentleman who was on at Late Healer. Oh, can you get a bass clarinet?
Oh.
That was one of the questions he had.
Oh, okay.
But then, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a bass clarinet with me today. I know that's probably, I think they were asking me last week for a bass clarinet.
Probably.
Just have my regular clarinet. Let's see, I'm going to jump in some questions here. Purple Frog Gamer, I'm going to say hi to you, give you a shout out. Purple Frog Gamer just came in with a question. How do you buzz your lips on the trumpet? So let me start with that. Any trumpet players here in the chat room? Okay, so we start with our buzzing on our mouthpiece. You have to put your lips together like you're saying, sometimes we say the sound like M, and your lips are smooth. So if you're a trumpet player, let me know if I leave anything out of my explanation here. You've got your lips together like you're saying M, smooth. Your corners are firm, pressed down against your teeth, like they're glued down to your teeth. Your cheeks are glued down to your teeth, and you blow air through the middle of your lips and through the mouthpiece. So you got air going, and then if you start to blow harder, it turns, and you keep your lips firm, it turns into a buzz. So we have to keep all this flat against our teeth. We can't let our cheeks puff out like this. Okay, and I actually have a couple of videos on how to buzz on the trumpet. You should check that out. Let's see. Another question. Recycled straw. How do you know you have a good pitch for your instrument? Oh, okay. So, Recycled Straw plays clarinet and is wondering how to make sure you're playing. So if you say make sure you have good pitch, basically what you're asking is, are you playing in tune? So a great way to check your tuning on clarinet is to take just your mouthpiece and your barrel and make a good embouchure and the note you get should match an F sharp on the piano. So, hear that? That's an F sharp on my piano. Do. That's going to get you in the right spot to play your clarinet. If you try to do that and you sound really kind of under, like, it means either you're not tight enough or you're not blowing strong enough. F sharp on the piano, and that's going to get your clarinet pretty close to being in tune. Mike is checking in here. Mike Hamilton is asking, how do you play blues on alto sax and not a jazz sound? Interesting. So here, I'll get my alto sax. Here's my alto sax. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure when you say not a jazz sound, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I can answer your question about blues. Because I see blues and jazz as styles of music that are right next to each other, and they share a lot of attributes, okay? So if you're going to play blues on the sax, there's two scales you need to learn. Sometimes people just learn something they call it the blues scale, and when they say the blues scale, they're usually talking about this. And what that is what I call, you can slide on the alto sax, I'll get to that. I call that the minor blues scale. Actually, I don't just call it that. I actually got a great book about blues scales that showed me that one that I just played is called a minor blues scale. It's when you take the minor pentatonic and you just add in the flat 5. So you can do a lot of bluesy sounding things on that scale. If you heard the Pink Panther, it's kind of based on that scale. That's the minor blues scale. There's a second type of blues scale called a major blues scale, where we do a major pentatonic and we add in the flat 3rd. And you also hear this scale used a lot in B.B. King blues, you know, styles like that. So there's a little starter intro to the blues, okay? Hope that answered your question. Dennis, do you see a question I should jump to?
Yes, this was Mike Hamilton asked earlier. He says, I'm 55 and not a school kid. I only got an alto saxophone in the last 2 years, and I'm learning to play for fun, and that's what I get from having some sax fun. He wants, if you can think for somebody learning to play the sax at an older age.
Just how to have.
I mean, what are some of the things he can do, because he's not, getting probably the training that you get in a school.
Oh, okay. Well, you can find a lot of good stuff. So, Mike, for you, I have Mike Hamilton, who's watching today, who is not in school. He's an adult. He said he's 55 and he plays the saxophone. Hi, Francesco, and he is just wondering some things that he can do. Some things he can do to learn more about the saxophone since he's not in school. So the first sort of obvious thing that you could do is, if you have a good saxophone teacher near where you live, to get some private lessons. If you don't want to go that route, or you don't want to spend that money, there is a lot of stuff you can find online, like my videos. There's a couple of good saxophone channels. You could get a method book. I have a lot of books here. Let's see. Here's just a random book called 101 Saxophone Tips. You could just get any kind of lesson book and start to try to teach yourself. And then finally, maybe there might be a music school in your area where you could get involved with playing with other people. So, quick little answer to that question. Oh, Mike says he is taking lessons. That's great, Mike. So I had someone come through and say, I forget who said it. I should do live stream more often. I do a live stream every Sunday. That's today at 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's where I live on the Eastern United States. So 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. Okay, I saw someone check in. I know Dennis has been highlighting a lot of questions, and I want to make sure I get to them. Let's see here. Yes?
No, I was just looking for the ones I highlighted. They were getting away from me a little bit here.
Right. I'm looking through for Dennis's highlighted question. Robert. Oh yeah, Robert. Robert Krekel says, should I play the tenor sax, bari sax, or alto sax? Okay, so this is the alto sax. The tenor sax is bigger than this, and so is the bari sax. It kind of depends. If you, Robert, I don't know if you play in a school band. You should ask your band director if there's a particular need that they have. Usually school bands have plenty of alto saxes, and usually they might need another tenor sax, or they might need a baritone sax. So it's partially what you might need in your school. Maybe you can help out that way, because they're all pretty much the same. It's just how low your sound is. And then also do some listening to some YouTube videos and figure out which sound you like the best. Do you like the higher sound, alto sax? Do you like the middle sound, tenor sax? Do you like the low sound of the bari sax? And like I said, the good news is, even if you learn one or the other, all the fingers are the same. So if you go to switch to tenor or alto or bari, you don't have to relearn anything. It's all the same. So all the fingerings are the same. Okay. So some more questions.
You have another one. Mariana Sider is, how do you slide on the clarinet, the B-flat clarinet for Rhapsody in Blue?
I get this question a lot. So how do you do, real quick, Purple Frog Gamer, is Selmer a good brand? Yes, Selmer is a very good brand. Quick answer there. How do you bend the note? We call it glissando on clarinet. So you have to get good at practice hitting a note, and you have to bend it down and back up. And the way we bend it is you have your sort of O-shaped embouchure, and you feel like your lips are grabbing the sides of the reed, and pull it down off of the mouthpiece and then kind of back up to where it began. And you can get your sound to bend down. Check it out. I'll do it on a high C. So I'm kind of pulling the reed down, but I'm also creating sort of like an air pocket in my mouth with my tongue kind of coming down, and that changes the pitch. Take some practice, right? And then you have to really practice it to get the glissando on Rhapsody in Blue, where you start to pick your fingers up kind of gradually like that. So you have to work on that bending the pitch down. So I hope that helps. Dennis, do you have another question for me?
Yeah. Behind the scenes asks, what kind of pieces would you suggest for an audition for any musical group?
Okay, so whenever you're auditioning, you're welcome, Mariana. Whenever you are auditioning for anything, usually what they want to hear is scales. Even whether you're auditioning for jazz or classical or whatever, it's always good to know your scales, because people want to know if you know your key signatures. So playing scales is great for an audition. A chromatic scale is great for an audition. Most auditions, they will tell you exactly what they want you to play. So if whoever you're going to be auditioning for, you should ask, what do you want to hear in my audition, right? So scales, and a lot of auditions, they want to hear you play something slow and pretty to hear your expression, and they want to hear you play something fast and technical to hear how much you've prepared your technical ability on your fingers. So scales, something slow and pretty, something fast and technical to show all the aspects of your playing, okay? So behind the scenes is asking me a flute question. I answer this question a lot too. Let's see, where's my flute? How to not get an airy sound on the flute. Has anyone been in my live streams before and remembers my answer on how to not get an airy sound on the flute? You have to make sure you're not wasting air with too big of a hole in your lips. This is called your aperture, how big the hole is on your lips. If you close it down like it's almost closed, like you have an air leak, if your aperture is too wide, it sounds very airy. If you focus it, if you think like a garden hose, if you have a garden hose and it's all the water's coming out, but then you put your thumb on it and you close up the hole, it focuses the stream really, really tightly. That's also how you work on your high range. Okay, quick little flute tip. You know, I want to take a little survey. How many people here, I want you to check in, type into the chat room how long you've been playing your instrument. Because I'm curious if we have a lot of people who are beginners or people who have been playing for a few years. So let us know in the chat room how long you've been playing your instrument. So YouTuberlitz is 2 years, Mystic Firefly is 5 years, Natha Freeze is 5 months, Anonymous Shadow played sax in 5th grade, Alfonso Ruiz has been playing 6 years, Brian Carvajal is in his 4th year, these are going by fast, Miley has been playing for 1 year, Lath has been playing for 3 years, Sharon has been playing for 2 weeks. Sharon, what are you learning to play? So if you guys are beginners, I want you to let your friends know as we get closer, we're getting into the starting of the school year. My live streams are every week, and I think, especially for kids who are just starting in band, I'll try to do all the tips that I can for beginners who are just learning to play their instrument. So let your friends know that I'm here every Sunday, and I can answer their beginner questions. Okay, Rebecca Elitzer has been playing for 1 year. Ashley Engelbrecht has been playing flute for 3 years. That's great. Okay, Dennis, how about you shoot us another question?
Yeah, Roan Buckham has a question. What's the easiest way to memorize the bass clef properly? As I played the treble clef my whole music career, but I've recently started playing the piano and I need to learn bass.
So Roan, who's here a lot, Roan, remind me if I'm saying your name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but Roan Buckham has been here for a lot of my live streams, and the question is how to get better at doing, oh, good, okay. How to get better at reading bass clef. So, you guys ever learned how to read the staff with your hand staff? So the staff of music has 5 lines and 4 spaces. So if you hold up your hand, you have a little diagram of the music staff. Line, 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 space, 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 space. So if you're reading treble clef, which is the G clef, it looks like a curly Q, almost like a G, we go E, G, B, D, F, and we remember that it's like the alphabet. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Bass clef has the same lines and spaces, but this one down here is not E anymore, it's G. So you kind of have to just start by memorizing your lines, like G, B, D, F, A. Some people say, good boys do fine always. My favorite one is, great burritos don't fall apart. That's one I like to remember. Great burritos don't fall apart. And then you can use your same rule of alphabet. This is G, that has to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And from there, it's just a matter of practicing, just practicing. And then it starts to stick, okay? Unequal rocket, how do you clean your trumpet? You can actually give your trumpet a bath. So woodwind instruments, flute, clarinet, saxophone, you cannot give a bath because they have. Does anyone know why you can't give flutes, clarinets, and saxophones a bath? There's a reason. Let me know in the comments if you know why you can't give clarinet, flute, saxophone. Right, Mystic Firefly, because of the cork, and there's another reason. Right, it's not just the cork, it's also because of the pads underneath the keys. On a trumpet or a brass instrument, trombone, baritone, check out on YouTube, look how to give your trumpet a bath, and there's some good videos. They show you how to take the parts apart of your trumpet, and you actually can submerge it in water and use sort of a brush, like a snake brush, to go through. You really should follow a tutorial to do that the first time, so you learn how to put your trumpet together the right way. So, Dennis.
Yes. Lake Hilo earlier says, what instrument plays with the tenor sax?
What instrument?
Yeah, plays with the tenor sax. What instruments would he want to surround himself with?
Huh. Well, the answer is any instrument, although it depends on the style of music you're playing. Like if you want to play in like a jazz or in a jazz band, a small group, you've got a tenor sax. Usually there's a trumpet with it, and a piano and a bass and drums. That's a little jazz combo. Tenor sax is part of a concert band, and you really want to have all the instruments there. You can play with any instrument. So I would actually want to know a little bit more for that question. What is this Rowan who asked this question? Rowan?
No, Laith.
Oh, Laith.
Laith.
I'd want to know a little bit more about what kind of music you want to play, and then I can give you a little bit more guidance. Purple Frog Gamer wants to know if I own a tuba. I don't own a tuba. We have a couple of tubas at school. I do have a baritone euphonium. I have it right here. Oh, my valve is sticking a little bit. Okay. Okay. Rebecca is asking me, how many instruments do I play? I play pretty much all the instruments in the band, although I'm better at some than others. So count up all, let's go down the list. Saxophone, clarinet, flute, piano, drums, guitar, trumpet, bass, trombone, baritone. I don't know, probably about 12, 13, 14 instruments, although I'm really good at, my best instrument is saxophone, clarinet, and flute. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to answer Robert. Robert, what's this question you were asking about? Where did it go? We have 2 altos, a bari, and our drum major is a tenor. Well, it's. Are you asking, Robert, which instrument you should choose? If your drum major is a tenor, that means usually drum majors conduct and they don't play on the field, so maybe you should play tenor so you can cover that part. There's an idea. Okay, let's see. Natha is asking me to play Jammin' with Charlie. Is that a song in your lesson book, Natha? I don't know that song. Rowan is checking in, because people have been asking about how long do reeds last. If you take care of your reed and you wipe it off every time you play, I mean, a reed can last for several weeks, even longer. It depends on how much you play. I know some kids probably go a couple of months or even a whole year on a reed because they just keep playing it until it totally disintegrates or totally dies. But you really should have a couple of reeds that you rotate. And then when one gets, to a point where it's not playing so well, you get rid of it. Okay. Dennis, why don't you throw me a question?
Yeah. He said, what's the articulation when you articulate really fast on a flute? He says, please tell me I'm a new flute player, and can you play it for us, please, to show them?
Okay, I'm going to answer that. Larissa Perkins just checked in. What's the key to backwards march? We just had a week of band camp. The key to backwards march is you have to get up on your toes. And actually, when you're backwards marching, you're on your toes the whole time. Your heels never hit the ground. So there's helpful, hopefully, for your backwards marching. So tonguing quick, fast on the flute. There's single tonguing, double tonguing, and even triple tonguing. Single tonguing you learn how to do in your first couple of years, and getting fast at single tonguing is just practicing slow and then trying to speed it up. So just use a metronome and try to gradually speed up your tonguing. Then we get into something called double tonguing, where you, instead of going two, 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 you say two, coo. Hey, Will. Instead of saying two, two, you say two, coo. And so you get sort of a fake second tongue with the back of your tongue saying coo. Two, coo, two, coo, two, coo. I can't do this one so well. So I'm going two, coo, two, coo, two, coo, two, coo. So it's a little easier on flute. It's harder on reed instruments. So that's how you do your fast tonguing. Yes, two, coo. Aiden is asking, how do I tongue faster on my clarinet? Same answer. Will Hulcher, hey Will, how are you? Will checked in and asked me, how do you develop your jazz vocabulary? So if you want to get better at playing jazz, the number one thing to do, people talk about developing jazz vocabulary, and that means you're learning some of the typical sounds and phrases that professional jazz musicians use. What you do is transcribe jazz solos. So does anyone know what it means to transcribe a jazz solo? Okay. See you, Anonymous Shadow. Thanks for checking in. When you transcribe a jazz solo or any solo, it means you listen to it and you learn it note by note just by listening and not by following any written notes. It's actually pretty tricky, but you can do it if you practice it. So transcribing jazz solos is the best way. So, you know, Charlie Parker is one of the best jazz saxophone players who ever lived. And one of his famous jazz solos is, it's called Parker's Mood, and it starts off. This is one of the first jazz solos I learned. So you take those phrases, and they start to become part of your own playing, and you use them in your own way. So transcribing solos. Did you say something about? Yeah, Will has been working on some solos by a great sax player named Dick Oates, who teaches at Temple University. So Will, thanks for checking in. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Mike Hamilton says he's learned Star Wars and Pink Panther from my channel. That's awesome. We are getting close to the end of our live stream. Rebecca is asking, how often do I post videos? I try to have new videos every week, posting on Sundays. This week was particularly busy for me because I had band camp. So speaking of band camp, if you guys follow me on any of these social media things, if you're on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, I'm at Dr. Selfridge down here. I post some updates and some photos from, had band camp this week, and I just try to give you guys some behind the scenes stuff of what I'm doing, because I'm a music teacher. When I don't teach on YouTube, I'm a band director at a high school. So I've got my social media stuff here. I've also got my new Patreon page. If you want to check that out on Patreon, if you become a member on Patreon, there's some cool things that you can get access to. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'll give you a shout out right here on the chat. Natha is asking me, Natha, am I saying your name right? Is it Natha or Natha? But you want to know what my favorite instrument is. I would say my favorite instrument is saxophone, but I really love all the instruments. Saxophone's my favorite because that's the one I'm the best at. Rebecca, yes, I am a music teacher. I teach high school band, so I teach 9th through 12th graders. Sophie is asking, can we get clarinet scales? You mean like videos? That's great. I really would like to do some videos for clarinet scales. Is there a clarinet scale I can teach you right now? Let me know, Sophie. Sophie, what clarinet scale should I show you right now? Let's see. Mike Hamilton, yes, the Bandmate app is very, very awesome app. I definitely recommend it. So Sophie's not sure. I'd say the first scale you should learn on clarinet, depending on, okay, Ashley's saying G. G is a good scale to learn on clarinet if you're a beginner, because if you can't play over the break, you can do a G scale still. So a G scale would be low G, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So, F sharp, and then typically we want to play it in a rhythm like ta, ti, 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 ta, ti, 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 ta. Depending on what your teacher wants you to do, you can play it in a different rhythms, okay? So, this half hour has gone by very quickly. I'm actually going to get going now because I have some new videos to record for you guys. I'm going to work on recording some videos tonight. As I said, if you're new to the live stream, I'm here every Sunday at this same time. It's 5 p.m. my time on the East Coast of the United States. So tune in every Sunday. Let your friends know if you have friends who are in beginner band or even friends who are a few years experienced. Check into my live stream and I answer as many questions as I can in our half hour. Thank you, Rowan. I'm going to have a lot of fun this week. We have a second week of band camp coming up. And going to start to get very busy at school. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Dennis, for being here, as always.
Yep. Glad to be there.
Yay. Okay, everyone make sure you say thanks to Dennis and Joe for helping us out in the comments section. So guys, I will see you in a week. Hope you all have a great week, and remember to tune in. Let your friends know to tune in as well. So see you guys. If I didn't answer your question tonight, this afternoon, I'm sorry. I'll try to get to it next time. Okay, so see you. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.